What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, back at it again with something new now. I know it's strange, no Minecraft today. Instead, we got some NHL. Now, you probably have multiple questions, and I'm going to answer all of them. One, why NHL? I'm a huge hockey fan myself. I love the sport. I think the sport is absolutely beautiful. If you have not watched any hockey games, I highly recommend. It is a beautiful sport to watch. It is absolutely my favorite sport, no doubt, just from the sheer intensity, constant pacing, and it's just so exciting constantly. So if that suits you, I would heavily plead you to give hockey a chance. Now, if you do know hockey, you're probably wondering, out of all the teams you picked, why Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's already won a few cups a couple years ago. Why, they're not the fun ones to play. Why don't you go play a team that's rebuilding, like New Jersey or Detroit? The thing about that is, the Pittsburgh Penguins are my hometown team. They're my favorite team. Love them to death. And I felt that it felt right to let this playthrough be the first. So we're going to roll with that. Now, I have a list out our goals for this series. Goal number one is super obvious. We want to be holding the Stanley Cup at some point in this series, and we're not ending it when we win the cup. Actually, depending how long it goes, maybe, but like if we win it in year 1, year 2, year 3, we're going to keep going. Because we got other goals. We want to avoid the rebuild. Now, for people who may not know hockey that much watching this, a rebuild is when a team does not have any superstar talent anymore, and they need to go through a period where they need to be bad to draft those very talented players and hopefully come back up with a chance for a cup. A lot of teams, almost every team has to eventually go through a rebuild. The thing is, I want to avoid it. We got time with Crosby and Malkin. Not a lot, but we have time. So these next few drafts are going to be crucial to us. Because I want us to still be good when Crosby and Malkin are on their last legs and they're retired. I want us to at least still be in the playoffs. Or at least be competitive. That's my goal. If we have to go through a small retool, that's okay with me. And a retool it's like a rebuild, but a shorter period, like a couple years, where you're mainly just a couple pieces away from being a true playoff team. You just need a really good forward or a really solid defense or a good goalie in net. You need something like that. I'm okay if we go through a retool. But like I said, I want to avoid the rebuild at all costs. If we get into it, oh well, but I want to avoid it as much as I can. And last goal is, it's not a big one, but I want to develop the kids. Now, what does that mean? We still have some very decent prospects in our system right now. Nothing crazy. We're not going to have a superstar talent like Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid come again, but we got players that can definitely be good role players for our future, and it's our goal to make sure they develop and get to that next level for us. Like, for example, Samuel Poulin down in the queue, or Justin Almeida down in the minors. We want to get those guys to hopefully make the NHL. If they gotta change their style of game, so be it. But getting those guys to the NHL, it's an important goal. Now, I made a bit of an edit to this. Up until March 12th, there will be no trades and no waivers. The reason I'm doing that is because that was the day that the league stopped and everything was put on hold. So I'm going to treat it the exact same way. So we will not be making any trades to buy at the deadline, nor will we have to worry about losing anyone off of waivers. So that's good. I think that's a good good ground for us. I'm probably going to sim to March 12th this episode, just to start off next episode with trades. Now, I also added a couple rules for myself, because I've played, this is my 4th NHL game, and I don't want to say I've torn this game to shreds, but I've figured out a lot of ways you can just cheat the system, and I don't want to do that here. So, we're going to honor, to start this off, we're going to honor all the no trade and no movement clauses. Now, if you don't know, in the NHL, players can be handed, when they are handed their contracts, these specific clauses on them, which means they might not be allowed to be traded to certain teams. Now, what does that mean? For example, Phil Kessel, one of my favorite players, he has a modified no trade clause, 8 teams trade list. Now, what does that mean? That means he can only be traded to 8 teams of his choosing. So, no trade clauses will have to be honored. And for no movement clauses, that is where the player cannot even be sent to the minors. They cannot be traded, and they cannot be waived. So the player is stuck on the NHL roster, and I'm gonna honor all of those no trade clauses and no movement clauses. Now, for the most part, that's not really going to hurt, especially with like Crosby and Malkin. But main reason I say that is Patrick Hornquist. I love Hornquist. Problem is he's 32. Another problem is he plays a physical game. And another problem is that that's a very bloated contract for his age. So he might drop off really fast. And which means we can't waive him. He is stuck on the roster. He can be scratched, but he is stuck on the roster. A quick view into the lines. Also, I have a limit on how many draft picks I can have. Now, if you don't know the NHL draft consists of 7 rounds. You get 1 pick for every round. So, 7 picks for every draft. Now, let's see if I can view it. I guess I'll propose trade. Now, of course, teams have already made trades in real life. So, for example, I do not have my first round pick this year. I only have a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and a 6th. The rule I'm imposing on myself here is, even if I'm rebuilding, at no point can I have 10 or more picks. Now, I know that may not seem like a lot, but when it gets into the later years and it's a lot easier to hit on prospects, if I have 10 picks versus 7, that could be 3 really good players I'm giving up. And that's the point of it, is that I want to make this more difficult. Now, the trade difficulty, I left that on medium, because I'm very used to that. Next series, I might bump that up to hard. We'll see. Also, when drafting, you have to scout those players. The thing is, me and my buddy Zach, we absolutely broke the scouting system. We figured out how you can know every player and how good they are throughout the draft. Almost every player. I will not be using that system. I will not be scouting. I will let the AI 100% control the scouting. My only say in the matter are 3 interviews on draft day. That is my only say. So I'm completely relying on my scouts. Now, of course, I can hire and fire them. But it is their job. I'm not allowed to meddle in their affairs. I might do a quick fixing up here of some of the scouts, because I don't like having any in the AHL. I don't find a need for it. But you'll see, I'll be hiring and firing a lot of scouts as we go along the way. And last but not least, when it comes to the contract system, it gets very easy very quickly how you can underpay a lot of players of what they're worth. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'm going to force myself to pay players what they're worth. Now, a lot of the times in the game, if a guy has a career season, he'll jump in overall and he'll be demanding a high pay raise if he's up. But for players like Crosby, actually, Crosby might not be the good one. Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel puts up consistently 70-point seasons, and then he asks for a new contract. And if it's worth around 8 million, I'm not going to give that to him because it would be too low in normal market value. So I'm going to do some quick math on the sidelines because there's a certain system players will demand money for, and it's the percentage of a team's cap hit. It's very interesting. If you look back at previous large contract signings, famously the Mitch Marner one, Crosby one, all the days ago, Ovechkin, Carey Price, Henrik Lundqvist, a lot of their percentages of the cap make up, it's relatively the same percentage throughout the years. So, like, what I'm saying is, Marner signed that $10 million deal under an $80 million salary cap. Crosby, when he signed his $8.7 million deal under, I don't remember the number off my top head, but under his cap, that was roughly around the same percentage. So I'm going to honor that. Players will get their percentage of the cap. I can only fluctuate by, I'll call it here, 1%. I can only lower it to down by 1% of what they would make normally. Now, this is just for larger contracts. For any smaller contracts, good game, like 5 million and less. But like we're talking about when players like Gensel, or if I do go through a rebuild and our superstar talent, he wants to get paid, he's going to get paid. Unless I opt for a bridge deal. But I'm only allowing myself one bridge deal. Which, if you don't know what a bridge deal is, it's a shorter, cheaper contract, typically around 2 to 3 years. And it's basically a show me contract. The GM is telling the player, listen, I think you're good, but I don't think we've seen that absolute talent, the talent level money that you're asking for. So we want to see you go prove it. So that's typically the point of a bridge deal. Players that got over the summer, Braden Point, 3 years, 7 million, I believe. Might have been a little bit cheaper. Same thing with Patrick Laine. I think he was 2 years. But yeah, bridge contract. So, other than that, I think we are good to go. Now I'm going to hire my U.S. Central scout. Garen, are you good in the Central? Yes, you. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Actually, no. Lalonde, right? I am genuinely baffled. I've never seen that before. Wait, wait. That is hilarious. Okay, cool. The game broke itself already. Oh, 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 it's all coming together. It is all coming together. And I got 2 extra spots. The year 1 draft, I kind of know a lot about. So I'm not going to worry too much about these scouts because I pretty much know what's happening. I'm going to run down the lines with you quickly. Now, first off, I tried to keep them as realistic as possible, but you can only do that to a certain extent. So, I worked together the lines in a way that made sense for my coach and made sense in real life. So we got Crosby and Gensel playing together, as usual, with Hornquist. Hornquist typically doesn't play with them, but it is... You see that +5 right there? Yeah, add that to their overall level. So you see how Crosby's like a 93? Add that +5, he's playing like a 98 out of 100. He's playing really good if you can't tell. yeah, so that's basically the line chemistry there, as you can see by above. You can ignore the stuff to the right about the impact, stuff like the carry dump bias, shoot cycle bias. You can ignore that stuff. I pretty much do. Actually, that's a lie. Don't I always keep an eye on that? Yeah, next line we got Sherry, Malkin, Rust. Pretty similar line. I don't know who's playing on that left wing with Malkin and when the season paused, but I mean the Penguins were hammered with injuries, so these lines were nothing like how they look today. Third line, I got Jason Zucker, Bukestad. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, Bukestad, and McCann. And even though I could get better chemistry with another line, the Tanev, Bluger, Ashen Reese line in real life this season has been absolutely amazing. So I'm going to hope that chemistry comes in with the game, let's say the least. Also, Theodor's Bluger, the good old Latvian kid. I have a soft spot for people from weird countries, so warning. Like, I will collect all my Estonians if I can. I'm not joking, I will. Maybe a Belgian every once in a while, but we'll see. Defense. Already, if you're a Penguins fan, you probably want to strangle me. Jack Johnson on the first pairing with Chris Letang. Now, before you start rioting outside my house, I'm only doing that because Dumoulin and Schultz, they play really well together. So, in real life, Dumoulin plays with Letang, but I'm going to make an exception here. Last line is Pettersson and Marino. Marino is going to be very key for us developing him. Only 22, and he's a medium top 4. I mean, same thing goes with Pettersson. And so those two are going to be very important to develop, especially with Schultz's contract expiring this season. So this might be his last hurrah with us. If I can re-sign him, I'll try, but here's where the problem comes in hand. Not with goaltending. The tandem of Matt Murray and Tristan Jarry, that's a very solid tandem. The thing is, they are both on expiring contracts. They are both starting goaltenders. And if they play well, they will both be demanding a nice penny. So this offseason, we're already going to have an uncomfortable conversation of who is the new starter and who is the backup, because in the minors, Casey DeSmith will be drowning down here for a season, and I love Casey DeSmith, so if you think I'm trading him on that cheap deal, you're insane. I'll show you Wilkes-Barre Scranton real quick, but healthy scratches, we got Rue Weedle, Dominic Simone, you're welcome Brandon, and Patrick Marleau. Now, also, before you write with Marleau, the Penguins have so many forwards, it's ridiculous. Evan Rodriguez is in the minors right now. He shouldn't be in real life, but, the Penguins have been injured to high hell this season, so they have a lot of NHL caliber forwards. Down in Wilkes-Barre, nothing much. Rodriguez, Sam Lafferty. Down here, we're going to focus on the development of players like Casper Bjornquist. We're going to try to get Anthony Angelo up there. Jan Drogs, we're going to try to get to develop. I love him. He's a Slovenian boy, so you bet your ass that I'm trying my best to get this guy to be good. And on defense, I mean, really no one of note except Pierre-Olivier Joseph. There he is. So, I really want to get to develop because he's kind of the key piece of the famous Phil Kessel trade that sent Kessel to Arizona and Galchenyuk and P.O. Joseph to Pittsburgh in a massive underpayment. But looking back at hindsight, both teams somehow lost. So Pierre-Olivier Joseph will be the key to who wins that trade. If he develops, he at least gets up a top 6 defenseman. I'm perfectly happy with that. And of course, the tandem is DeSmith and Tynarski. So, any other prospects such as D'Orio, he's probably going to max out around to a backup, I would say. But if I had to predict he's probably going to max out around a 77. But if he gets up to an NHL caliber backup, that's a success for me. There are some more prospects in here, and of course, I have some of my nailers here, such as Graham Knott, Miles Powell. I'm a huge Wheeling Nailers fan because I absolutely hate myself. Let's see, other players. Let's see. Oh yes, there's Justin Almeida. Helping him develop will be very key, especially playmaking ability. He could be a solid third line scoring forward. I could see good. We will watch your career with great interest. Philippe Hollander, if we can get him up to that top 6 potential, I will be floored in excitement. I've almost never seen it, but if we can get that, then I see this as an absolute win. Any defensive prospects that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. But, this is the team. That's Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and then back up to Pittsburgh. We're going to sim straight to March 12th. Actually, I'm going to need to sim a couple days to make sure my scout, who has multiple personality disorder, make sure he gets into the right place. But yeah, I'm going to kind of botch it with scouts. Yeah, Raphael. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's 4 points for Crosby. Oh yes, that's hot. Yeah, we will hopefully see a lot of production out of that line. All right, okay, now okay. Good, you're not having multiple personality disorder, buddy. Good for you. Let's send you to the Central. Finally, everything is set up. We can progress. And it only took, what, like 22 minutes? We're already on schedule. Alright, go straight to March. March 11th. So we're just going to sit back and just watch the sim. Brian Rust got injured. Right now we're just in the preseason. And don't worry, the trades are actually off. Just I can only turn them off for the CPU, so we won't be seeing any trades there. But I'll get trade offers occasionally. But we're just going to ignore that. But just some minor injuries. We're doing really well in the preseason. One loss. Hopefully that's a sign of what's to come. But then again, a couple years ago, Montreal went 6-0 in the preseason, and then just flopped out. The Penguins are the Penguins. The baby boy, as I like to call him, Zach Aston-Reese, is injured. So we're going to in goes Simone. Now, if I was Mike Sullivan, Simone would go straight up to that first line because whatever Sullivan is smoking, I want to have some because that must really do something. And we are somehow below 500 as Kevin Waugh goes down. Okay, guys. It's not funny anymore. Let's actually pull ahead. 2, 3, and 1. Okay. This is not going the way I would like it to. Simone, how'd you do? 2 assists in 3 games. It's pretty solid. That's actually probably more than Aston-Reese did. The McCann line, we wish a little bit more out of you, buddy. Ross is doing good, which never happens in this game. I swear, he sims so poorly in this game, and I hate it, because I love Brian Rust. So handsome. Love you, buddy. Malkin with 5 goals is just ripping the league to shreds. Connor Sherry with 2 assists is looking like the Connor Sherry of Buffalo and not the Connor Sherry of Pittsburgh. Patrick Hornquist doesn't have a goal. That doesn't fill me. Crosby. That explains it. I guess I should have expected it. Alright, we'll just hope this is just a bad month. How's goaltending holding up? Yeah, you two are looking realistic, except you, Jari. Alright, let's just... Alright. Well, I guess Patrick Marleau is going to get shot. He also keeps that line up. Plus, oh, forgot to show the power play lines. Power play. 4-man power play. Which now, good old Marleau will jump into. The penalty kill unit. And the 3-man penalty kill. 4-on-4. And the 3-on-3. I could throw someone else in here, but I could also do best lines, but I'm meticulous. I gotta have the lines exactly how I want them to be. Alright. Alright, yep. Those are the lines. Okay. This isn't funny anymore, guys. These are really the Penguins. I did not up the injuries at all. I didn't. These are just the Penguins. Expect to see a lot of injuries because, oh boy, the Penguins love to get injured. It is not epic. I'm going to leave Ruedel and Dumoulin together. Kevin Waugh is back. Nice to see, nice to see. And I'm pretty sure it's Waugh because, I don't know, it might be Roy. Thanks, Patrick Waugh. You just had to be weird with it. The French. Where are you? You're Canadian, so yeah, there's a good chance it's Waugh, but honestly, who knows? Go away, Philly. No one likes you. Ah, finally. We're above 500. Okay. Now, can we just get through the month of October? Seriously. Do I need to turn injuries off? Oh my god, I might need to turn injuries off. This is absolute atrocious. This is just bad. Alright, P.O. Joseph. Let's see what you got. Where? Oh, nope. Okay. I don't know why the defenseman was in for my extra attacker. I'll throw Riley Barber in there. Believe in Barber. That's what I always say. I never say that. We'll throw Miletic in. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sam Miletic. Yeah, hopefully we can get him to develop too. Jason Zucker wants to talk about ice time. Hi, buddy. But, can I persuade you to suck it up? Alright, fine. I'll give you more minutes. Alright, Cap. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Now, can we make it through this Dallas game on... I think I need to turn off injuries. Just for, like, this part. Because this is bad. Dude, you're on the second line. You're a second liner. What? Can I persuade you? Oh, I can flip a coin. I can land heads on Brian Russ. But no, if it's convincing on Zucker, he's like, I don't buy it. Yeah, I like those odds. Alright, Brian Russ. Thank you for being a team player. Love you, buddy. Oh my god. Alright. I'm going to quickly do a couple things. Just for my own sanity in this video's length. So, rules. Wait, I just passed it up. Off. I'll turn those back on, because I'm of the belief you should play with injuries to be more realistic, but I understand why people don't like it. Alright. Play Zucker over Sherry for a few games. Probably just need to play against Philly. We'll see. We will see. Malkin is playing amazing this season. Oh, we're playing on medium scoring, by the way, which that's pretty much akin to real life, so we'll have a few 100-point players, but nothing too insane. Some seasons might be we only have one. Wilkes-Barre Scranton is finally getting healthy. Jeez. Alright. Alrighty, Ricola. Ricola! I love him. And yes, I know love is a strong word, and I mean it. I love him. John Nyberg goes back in. Alright, Zucker. Would you just please be happy? There we go. Glad I could help out, buddy. Ooh. That game hurts against Boston. Yeah. Okay, can this line get going? Ah, there we go. You should at least have 15 points. Come on, buddy. Hornquist is up to 10. Also, by the way, if you're wondering, I did a lot of edits to these rosters. So, they're not exactly what they would be if you start up the game, because I think when you start up the game with their rosters, it is atrocious. And we'll sim to December 31st. Because, Michael Hutchinson. No ill will to Michael Hutchinson. Probably a great guy. Nothing against him. Just him being an 80 overall as a goalie, when the dude can't play good at the NHL level, is absolutely ridiculous. So, I think... Hey, you better be apologizing how you're playing out there, buddy. Can I persuade you? Will it work now? No, it won't. Ha. Idiot. Just kidding. Love you, Zucker. Great guy. You're also... Can I persuade you? Can I win another coin flip? No, I can't. Oh my god, minus 15. Okay. Alright. That's a bit much. Dude, 3 wins against the Islanders in this month. That's pretty nice. Okay, I'm editing my trade block. So Montreal has the stones to do only 2 months into the game that they don't have for 3 years of an underperforming Claude Julien. I don't know what's more Bergevin. I don't. I really don't. Bergevin, as the Canadiens GM, has just been... It's not a disaster, not a success. It's just been a roller coaster of what he does. Because it's so fascinating. And I'm glad we are finally putting this thing together. Alright, I'm clearing my trade block. I don't want to make any trades. I would like to make this clear. No trades for me. No trades. Absolutely no trades. So there we go. And right as I say that, we lose to Vancouver. Alright. We're doing great. And, back-to-back wins against Nashville. That's what I like to see. Another win against Ottawa. Let's get to March 12th. Actually, we'll get to March 11th. Because I think the 12th was the day the season stopped. So, get to the 11th. Delicious H2O. But we are winning some games convincingly. 5-2, 6-2, 5-1. Shootout win, 6-2. How did we lose to Detroit? How did we lose to Detroit? God, how far are we up in the standings? Are we leading the league? We might be. The Predator... I think this was around the same time the Predators actually fired their head coach, so that's pretty realistic. That's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That is pretty funny. Oh my god, could we clinch a playoff spot by... Oh, the Canucks are playing really well too, so we're battling out, and we've already clinched. Yep, we've already clinched a winning season with 42 wins. So right now it's cup or bust. It is cup or bust here in Pittsburgh. So what? Playoff picture, we'll check off the playoff picture, what it's looking like. Right as we lose to Washington, what a shocker, and we lose to New Jersey, who's a bottom feeder. Because why would we? So right now, it looks like we would play the Capitals in the first round, which depends on who you ask. Might be very happy or very sad. That's a lie. The Lightning would play the Capitals in the first round. Good God, they already have 100 points. Well, look at me being foolish, being like, oh, I think we're number one. Nope. We are not number one in the league. That goes to Tampa. So we would play the Flyers, which that would make me sad. Because I swear, they always, even through the jaws of victory, they managed to grab a loss to the Flyers. It's amazing. The Hurricanes Islanders, a rematch of the second round last year. Would someone get swept? In the West, it looks like the Canucks are out leading, so the Canucks would play the Stars. Stars would jump over back to the Pacific. Golden Knights Kings, a rematch from 2017. You got the Avs and the Yotes, which that's a very interesting series. You got the old Nordiques versus the old Jets. Speaking of the Jets, you'd have them play in Chicago. But right now, there is definitely a gap in between the East and the West. Because, the Panthers, Sabres, and Rangers would all be in. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Oh, and the Red... Wait, nope, not the Red Wings. Okay, I'm just stupid. But the Atlantic looks pretty realistic, other than Montreal, with 14 wins. I would switch them in Detroit, and I think that would be the standings in real life. Not the exact point totals, but you know what I mean. And the Avalanche... Wow, the Blues have fallen off a bit. I wonder what's happened there. But we'll look at points. Oh my, how did I not notice that? Evgeny Malkin has turned into God himself. So has Crosby and Gensel. That Hornquist contract, that might not look too bad. Letang's doing pretty well, too. Let's see if maybe he could grab a Norris. Maybe. Also, I'd like to bring up something. If you watch hockey a lot, you're probably screaming at your TV, your phone, your iPad, your watch, your neighbor. Why Jake Gensel only has 16 goals. I can't count. It's because there's a hidden feature in this game, which you can't change, called shot frequency, which basically determines how much a player actually takes shots. For example, Gensel barely at all compared to, players like Crosby and Malkin. But in real life, Gensel could hit 50 goals. He could. So which really makes you think. It makes you think what they're doing over at EA. They'll find a way to charge you for it. But everyone's playing good. Schultz he's playing for his next contract. Sherry is playing well. Russ and Zucker, for two people who were complaining to me, they're playing pretty solid. I wish a little bit more out of Zucker for what we're paying him, but you take what you can get. Bukestad, that's pretty good. I'll take that out of you, Bukestad, which a little bit more for your points. I just noticed plus minus. That fourth line, they're doing well. They're doing pretty well. Marino is doing good. You bumped up in overall, though? No, you have not. You have not. Jack Johnson has bounced back after a crappy start. Patrick Marleau has 7 points in 6 games. Oh. Yeah. Goaltend. I think someone is making a case for why he should be the starter in Pittsburgh next season. And someone is making a case for not doing that. I love you both, though. So, nothing wrong. What's going down with Wilkes-Barre? Yep, that's about right from Casey to Smith, because you should not be in the minors. And Rodriguez also should not be down here, but Sam Miletic, he's doing pretty well. But it looks like Wilkes-Barre is not. Jan Drog, 17 points. Casper Bjornquist with 13. Okay, that's really all I care about. But also, when it comes to free agency, I'm going to try to keep Wilkes-Barre Scranton competitive, which they are not right now. But you'll see what I'll do. But this looks like it might be a wrap on episode 1. Before I forget, I'm going to turn everything back on. But it looks like this will be the wrap. Injuries on. I probably passed up trades because I'm stupid. Nope, there it is. Trades on. Waivers on. I think that should be everything. Oh yeah, Fog of War is off because I hate it. That's it. I just hate it. There we go. And now it looks like this is the end of the episode. Well, I would like to thank you all for watching. I don't know when part 2 is going to go, but I hope you enjoyed. Love you guys.